Just Incredible here with a part 3 video for Serges, mainly the boss fight. What you just saw was the most optimal Serges fight. So, how do you do it? Well, this is what this tutorial is all about. So, we're going to start at the beginning. Once I get back to the stage through another playthrough. The Serges boss fight is the most technical boss fight in this entire game. If you do it optimally. It is very, very tricky, very, very technical. Has a lot of precise movements, precise shots. Pretty much everything that you could imagine to have in a boss fight. So, let me get through the stage and we'll take this tutorial from the top. Now I know better than to do that. So if you're doing the optimal strategy for this fight, you obviously come in with Charged Magnet Mine. Okay, that was the first part of the fight right there. As soon as you start, you want to dash forward, release the Magnet Mine before you jump off the platform, and then you dash forward onto those 4 platforms until you lose control completely. As you see, I've prepared about 18 different screenshots of very specific frames of the fight. And this fight actually begins before the boss meter even begins. That's what makes this fight very different from the rest of them in the entire run. So as you saw, what I just did there, the instant you get control of X, you dash to the edge of the platform, release the Charged Magnet Mine before you dash jump. That's a very key thing to note. As you see on this frame, you see X is let me pull it up here. As you can see, X is mid-dash, and he's just jumped, and you can see that there's a Magnet Mine right here that was just released, and it just goes straight. As long as you don't hold up or down, it will continue to go straight. This is very important because you do not want this Magnet Mine to go off screen. So if you hold up or down just slightly, it will gradually go toward the bottom or the top of the screen. You do not want this to go away. So that's why you want to refrain from holding up or down until the proper time of this fight. And the platforms will always come onto the screen before you begin to fall toward the spikes. So don't worry about that. You just follow the motion and you'll be okay. Now, while keeping the Charged Magnet Mine straight, you're going to land on the first of these 4 platforms right here. You're going to land on this first platform. You want to immediately dash until you lose control, and you'll end up on this second platform. And that's very important for the beginning of the fight. So, and the reason is this platform here and this one here are going to go up when the battle begins, and that's very very important. You could be on either this one or this one, but it's better to be on the ones that are going up. Now, I just paused before this moment. Now, Serges is going to be coming onto the screen in his big giant fortress. Now, when I get to this part, obviously I cannot move X, but I can still move the Magnet Mine by holding up and down. What you want to do is he comes in slowly from the right. His turrets here they're not going to have a hitbox to where you can actually hit it yet. I've done testing, and if you would have let the magnet mine go a little bit further, like before scrolling the screen forward for the fight begins, and you let this magnet mine just go into him as he's coming forward, the turrets won't even blow up because the hitbox and their so-called I'm going to call it their individual life meters, they don't get loaded into the fight until his own meter appears. So on this screenshot here, everything is damageable. Turrets, but not Serges yet. He won't be available to be damaged until his front of the fortress is gone. So that's why you have to move as soon as you get control coming through the door, because everything is very time sensitive in this fight. So when you get onto this platform, this magnet is still going to be moving very, very slowly, but also Serges is going to be coming onto the screen at the same speed. And this is the frame that I stopped it to where his meter appears. And the magnet mine is still going to be moving. And when it touches this bottom turret, you're going to move it up into the one above it and bring it back down. And if you do this correctly, you're going to destroy both of the turrets like this. And the magnet mine is going to be off the screen, or should be going off the screen, when his meter fills and you hear the slight pause where there's no music, and then the actual battle will begin. And I've noted here on these arrows the directions that they will go when the battle starts. And that sets up the next part of the fight. So when the battle begins, you're going to go straight to Silk Shot, because that takes out the cannons in one shot. You're going to, with default controls I might add, you're going to weapon switch with L 4 times to go to the Silk Shot. This lift is going to bring X up to the top, and also when these turrets get destroyed, Serges' fortress is going to continue to move forward, at least until you destroy all 4 of them, and then the second phase begins right after that. So when you destroy these 2 turrets, he's gonna be moving the fortress close enough for you won't have to dash off of this platform at all to try to hit this. It's going to be in an arm's reach of you to hit it. So that shouldn't be a problem. So weapon switch 4 times to Silk Shot. You're going to take out this turret. Then what I do, I usually dash off backwards. Let's get to the next shot. You see, he's going to fire the shot while staying on the platform. He's going to take out this top turret. Then I always come to the rear platform. I don't go to the front one because I don't want to risk this platform. Once the fortress runs into it, it's just going to knock it off the screen entirely, and then you won't be able to stand on it. And if you're on it when it gets knocked off the screen, you could fall into the spikes. But these 2 platforms here in the back always stay on the screen during the fight, so you never have to worry about falling into the spikes. So that's why I go to the back one. But you just fire a Silk Shot into this one, dash off. You could walk to the edge of this platform here and fire one, which is fine. Or if you're clever, you can always shoot one from midair right here and let it naturally fall down into it. But once all 4 turrets are destroyed, that sets up phase 2. So let me finish off phase 1 real quick. Four times, Silk, Silk. Now I know that's gonna kill it. Oh, well, if I hadn't paused, it would have killed it. Now you notice that even though you see Serges has to come down to where that turret is to fire. So if you mess it up, as long as you keep jumping and keep leading Serges to where you are, you're not going to take any excessive hits. Okay, now that sets up for the second phase of the fight. Now, now you're gonna have some time, not much, but you're gonna have enough time to set up this part of the fight. So when this fortress explodes, you want X to be under both of his weapon gauges, or both of his meters as depicted here, because you're going to set up a very clever double hit, or at least attempt a double hit on Serges with the Sonic Slicer. If the platform is coming down when you destroy the turret, it's gonna like stop and then come back up. That gives you a little bit more time to set this up, but usually when in an optimal fight, it's already heading up, so you're not gonna have as much time to line this up. But basically, you want X's hand to line up with the bottom of his life meter, and you want his back foot to line up on the front part of the weapon meter. Now, this is if he's facing the opposite way. You obviously want him to turn around. You want him to face right instead of left. So I'm going to try to set that up here when I take this off here. That's not quite. That's almost there. Okay, that took a little longer to do, but you see he's hiding completely behind the meters right now. And I've also included a couple of extra screenshots here. Now, if you do this optimally, he's going to be up here when the turret explodes, and that causes a sprite overload for some reason. The game can't keep track of all these meters and sprites that are on the same horizontal axis. So what ends up happening, the game has to unload part of a sprite, and that allows you to see the boots of X behind the meters. And this is a very key visual here. You want his heel to be along the edge of this meter here. That's a very good setup point. And if his hands are sticking out of the side of the meter, you're too far to the right. And if part of his toe in the back here is out this side, you're too far left. So this is a very good visual right here to tell where the setup is. And I believe I have one more screenshot. Yeah, this is probably a better one. But that's a very good one. You see, that with this explosion here, there's a major sprite overload. So a lot of these meters are gone. And I've also put a little green line here to line up the hand part. If your hand is too far, or it's covering or exceeding this border, you're way too far. And the ideal setup won't work for the double hits. Now, I didn't do it right now, but during the actual fight you saw at the beginning of this video, I did charge. You should be charging up and switching the Sonic Slicer this whole time. There was a lot of buttons you have to keep track of in this fight. But for the sake of making this simple, I'm just going to switch to Sonic Slicer and just charge. And hopefully I'll try not to get hit here. Okay, that's good. Okay, I'm all ready to start the first set of double hits. Okay, this is a final screen setup. The first front part of the fortress is completely gone. And X is up here at the top of the screen, which is where you need him to be for this first double hit setup. Now for the tricky part. You want to jump in place off of this platform, and you want to hold dash down completely. You don't want to hold left, or you don't want to hold right, because it's completely unnecessary. And you want to do the full extended dash. You want to hold dash all the way down as far as he goes until he starts to fall. And the reason is this sets up the pixel position that allows you to get the double hits. Now, another thing you just gotta go with is that you're going to be falling, and Serges may be coming up as you go, and you just have to anticipate where you and him will be on even level, and you have to release the slicer right in front of his face. That's how you get the double hits, and it all depends on your vertical pixel positioning whether you get them or not. If you're too far right, you may release the slicer into his face, where the little ball that appears when it first comes out, and you'll see this here in just a couple more images, what I'm talking about. Because the way the hitboxes are, it's very, very weird. I'm not completely sure why it works. It just does. Okay, here we go. Now this is after I release it. He's falling, but I've already released the Sonic Slicer in just the right place. This is the frame before he takes damage. So you get to see this, I want to say, horizontal part. The center of the circle meets his forehead. I guess that's one way of doing it. But the reason, if you're too far over, it all comes back to this collision detection that I've been discussing over the last couple of parts. Is if you're too far right, the game considers the weapon that it actually hit him. So whenever a weapon actually hits him, it just disappears. But if you just graze it, or sometimes I call it a phantom hit. I used to play Smash Brothers Melee, and a lot of times I'll get those phantom hits to where the hitboxes touch each other, but they don't overlap, and that's why you don't get no knockback from it. It's kind of like the same concept here, where you just want the hitboxes to just touch each other, because since you know they touch each other and he takes damage, then you know that with the nature of this weapon, Sonic Slicer, you're going to see blades come out, and they're just going to come down in the exact same, or the middle blade will come down exactly where you release it. And you see, this is the very next frame on my, when I replayed this video, or the video that I had this recording on, then the very next frame, you can see the blade is coming out here. And you can see the other blades are coming out as well. And you see he's taking damage already. This is the first double hit. And then when the blades rain down on him, he's going to take the second one. So I'm just going to take this off for a minute and see if I can repeat that here. It may take me a minute if I don't die first. Well, that was almost. I may have already messed it up. Yeah, I think I have. I think the reason it won't work now is because Serges is supposed to be going up to that turret to fire, but since there's no turrets now, he won't go up there. So this is probably a lost cause. It probably is. I may have to repeat that. Oh, let's see. Now that there was a late hit. I kind of released it late. Or I was too far over and he just took the whole ball in his face. But the idea here, you want to just graze him at his face. And this is the second part of the double hit. This is the blade that falls down on him. Now, what will happen with the second blade is that it's not going to hit him. I don't think this blade actually hits him. It hits this little part, his little handguard on his little pod here. But what happens is when this weapon hits something like an unbreakable block or something, you'll hear a big screech sound, and you'll see part of the blade. Like, this is the part of the blade that I'm trying to describe. You'll see the blade kind of do this. It's this part, it comes back, and it actually comes back and hits his face. That's the part, I think, that deals the second hit. It's not this blade here. I think it's this part. It just depends how close you get the blade to him. If you get the blade closer on the downfall, it will hit him. But that's only if you don't get the first double hit, but you get the second part. At least that's my understanding of it. See, that's a double hit. And you see on that second hit where he took the little arc there, or the little lines that appeared. That's whenever the blade hits the pod, and it kind of does like a ricochet kind of effect, or at least that's what I'm going to call it. So I'm going to try to redo the fight again and try to get that first double hit the way you're supposed to do it in the fight. So you want to keep the magnet straight. Now 4 times. Up now. Okay, now that I was too far to the left, and I released it at just the right moment, but I was too far to the left to get the first hit. But you notice that second blade came down and still hit him. And that is what this is representing right here. If you fail the first double hit, but you line it up correctly, then you'll get this. Then you'll get the second one. Now, at some point you need to get 2 more double hits to make this work. But you still got 2 damage left over that you still got to knock out. Well, you can just try to shoot a regular Sonic blade, like as he comes up and as you come down, or vice versa. You can just try to shoot a couple blades at varying heights, and hopefully he'll try to run into one. That'll get you your 2 damage, and then you can focus on the double hits to finish up the fight. So it's all pretty much a scrambling game to try to get the double hits, but then you got to get this 2 extra damage somehow at some point, and that's probably the best way to do it. If you just go for 3 consecutive double hits and then you try to get the last 2 damage, you're just better off going with an uncharged burner because of its big range that it hits at. You can probably just stand on the platform and wait for him to come down and just shoot, and you've got him. So then there's the matter of getting the position on this platform to where you get the double hits, and it should be just about the same as the air dash off. There's a few pixels that you can be left or right and still hit it. You also want to use the boot as a visual. You want the back part of X's back foot. You want the edge of its sprite on the bottom to match up with the side of the platform. That's the easiest visual cue. You can also go by the hand. If the hand is like it's over this line, but part of it is sticking out this other side, that's too far. You want the hand to either just graze the line or overlap the line on 1 pixel and nothing more. So I'm going to try to hit that for a minute. There we go. That's a double hit. Sometimes you just have to wait wait for the shots that he fires to get out of the way to even try to jump. But that's another thing. You want to fire these in midair. You do not want to just stand on the platform and let go of the charge, because when he lets go of the charge shot, it actually releases different. I'll try to show you what happens if you fire it in. See, it's different. It fires it too far back, and it never works. But if you release it while in the air, his X-Buster cannon extends further out. And that allows you to get the double hits easier. See, that's a double hit. Okay, I got one more life. So, you either just try to shoot him like that, or just use a burner. You see, see the range of the speed burner? It's very, very wide, so it's very, very easy to kill him. But I don't want to finish it just yet. So, back to the setup. You can go by the boot or the hands. Now, see in this screenshot, his hand is covering that purple line. That's as far right as you can be, I believe. If you're another pixel over, I don't think it works. And this is a very clean screenshot. It's not fuzzy anywhere. But you want to release these charges in the air. You don't release them on the platform. Now see, this is the example of the missed double hit that I kind of did earlier. Because the ball is not parallel with his forehead. It's up too far. But when the blades come down, they're going to hit him. And you want to be early than late. So that's another key thing. And this is the final screenshot. If at some point you don't feel comfortable in doing the double hits anymore, you can always just stand right here on the bottom part of his fortress. You want to stand right about here. He's too far to the left, I think, for this one. And you just stand there and release. You just charge up full and release. And the only thing you have to worry about is not taking damage from his little shots, because that's something you do have to watch out for. These things do quite a bit of damage. And releasing the charge slicers from down here is actually part of an easier strat that I'm going to do right now, I believe. No, I can't do it. Never mind. Now see, I don't have the magnet. I'm not going to have it done right here. I'm going to wait for this magnet intentionally so I can show you why you can't kill the turrets as early as you think you can. See, they're not loaded. They would have been destroyed already. And that's why they don't work. So that's why you have to release the magnet as soon as you jump off that platform. Because that gives time for the fortress to come in so you can actually do damage to it. Yeah, that was never going to work. Now, I believe I was too far in. Now, that was intentional. That was I did that intentionally right there to show you if you're too far in and you release, his face is going to absorb it. That was a missed double hit for some reason. But see, you can just do that too if you want to give up on the double hits. It's very easy to do that. It just takes longer. But yeah, that game over was strictly intentional. Now, if that was too much for you, there's an easier way of doing it. But it requires you to build up your Giga Crush first. So if you don't want to fight Serges that way, and it may be a little too much for you right now, let's just do this. Okay, that is full, and that is very important for the easier version of this fight. And I'm just gonna take this 20 seconds for a minute and explain why it's easier. When you use the Giga Crush at the very start of the battle, you do not use it before the battle starts. You use it once it begins. The Giga Crush is going to use its explosive energy and destroy everything, all the turrets on the screen at one time. The benefit to this, although it really doesn't matter much, is that it destroys all the turrets at once, and Serges is going to keep going forward until his fortress decides to blow up. Well, if you destroy all the turrets at once, his fortress is going to blow up faster than it normally would. Well, the benefit to that, it only knocks off one platform instead of the front two. So you get an extra platform to work with during the fight. However, the easy form of this strat for Serges, you don't use the platform, because all you do, you just use the Giga Crush. Then you just stand under him and just release the charged slicers. That's it. It's very, very easy. So I'm just going to go to Giga Crush. And just wait. All you do, you just get on the platform and wait for the battle to start. That is it. And start charging up for Slicer. See, he's got 3 platforms now to work with. But all you're going to do, you're just going to stand right here and release Charged Sonic Slicers. That is it. That is the easy version of this fight. If you want to try to do the double hits, go for it. I do believe the setup is the same, but you only have the platform to work with. Now see, if you're too far forward, the back part of his fortress absorbs the entire Sonic Blade. So you have to be standing on the front part. But that is the whole Serges fight. The fully detailed version and this very short version. So good luck out there, players.